Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Andi and Mich, where two sisters, two generations, and one powerful main character moment at a time come together.
Today we're diving into the magic and the mayhem of main character energy. That feeling when the world pauses and you know the scene is yours.
Is it attention seeking or is it divine confidence? Let's talk about the vibes, the signs, and those moments when you know the camera's on you, even if it's invisible.
So grab your cafecito and let's dive in.
All right, y'all. Main character energy is the topic. We got into a conversation about main character energy randomly.
Yeah.
And we decided, why not turn it into a podcast episode? So, what does it mean when you have main character energy?
Main character energy is when you carry yourself like the lead in your own life story. It's that confident, magnetic vibe where you walk into a room like you belong there. Make everyday moments feel meaningful or cinematic and own your space without permission.
It does not mean that you are being self-absorbed, but it does mean treating your life like it matters and showing up like you're worthy of attention, love, and good things. I think main character energy is all about confidence. So much so that you don't give a shit what anybody else thinks of you.
That's the secret sauce.
Secret sauce. You just get to a point where you don't care, and you don't care in a good way.
It's like, I don't care because it doesn't impact me. I think when you do a lot of work to be at a good space in terms of like emotional wellness, mental wellness, health, you can start to be the leading person in your own life and remember that you're not just like a side character that things happen to. A lot of the decisions that you make and the people you allow into your space really do impact the direction of your life. When you're really comfortable in yourself and like you really know who you are, you can just walk into a space and it's just an energy that literally emits off of you.
And people feel it. It has an impact. I think it's crazy how many of us, especially women, have not really embraced our main character energy. Many of us, and this is societal, like we've been taught not to. We've been taught to be the sidekick and to take a back seat to other people. Even with all the stuff out there in popular culture about wellness and using your voice, people are still not practicing like main character energy. They're not fully stepping into it. And I think some people are using the term, but not actually living up to what that means.
You can tell the difference between someone who is in their main character energy. It's genuine. All the messy and the good bits that make them so fun and interesting. You can tell when it feels phony.
There's always like a coolness to them. Like they're usually real chill. They have like a warm, low-key vibe for the most part, and they don't mind taking up space.
Yeah. They walk in there with this anchored understanding of like themselves and how they impact the spaces that they enter. It's okay for them to like allow you to take the stage or take the spotlight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a threat. I feel like it just kind of is very natural to them.
Depends on everyone's individual experiences, but I feel like that's a common experience of like feeling like you don't belong in a space, and so making yourself small in those spaces as a result, versus walking in and being in those spaces with main character energy is like, I have confidence and I am telling you I belong here. I don't need you to give me permission. It's such a power move to walk into a space and just take ownership of your belonging. The person who's standing in their main character energy is like kind, caring, thoughtful of other people, right? Like you said earlier, it's not all about the spotlight being on them all of the time, versus the latter is all about ego. And I need to be seen and I need to be the center of attention, and I'm going to be over the top to claim my space.
I totally agree. There's a warmth to it. That whole main character energy. It's not charming, right? There's like a conflation with like main character energy and being able to just charm everyone in the room. They can just hold space for others. And then when you ask them questions, there's a discernment to how they answer the question. It's just people who are genuinely themselves. And it's really beautiful. There's a negative connotation to having main character energy because when you are in a bad mood, the whole room will shift.
Yeah, because energy is powerful. The vibe that you bring into a space really matters more than anything. I remember years ago, one of my first jobs, one of the tasks they gave me was like planning events, and I would have to call customers and invite them to events. And one of the things that they would always say to us is, if you smile, you can hear it over the phone. The way you carry yourself, the way you're sitting, the energy that you have over the phone matters because it comes through. And I think that was a very early on life lesson around energy and how like our energy can shift because somebody else is feeling that, whether it's on the phone or whether you're in a room full of people.
Sometimes we don't realize how impactful we really are to each other as human beings.
Which also speaks to the power we have in our own lives, right? Like when you can step into that and even tapping into just a little bit of your main character energy, you can change everything for yourself. Especially if you're leading a group or you have to be in charge of something, your energy matters because everybody's going to shift to meet you where you are. And that's why if you're like really good at tapping into that main character energy, then you also have the ability to bring people to your energetic level.
You can convert energy. I'm going to take your bad energy and I'm going to raise it.
You also stop taking everything personal. Like if they're having a bad day, usually we react because we make it personal. Oh, you're being mean to me. Versus you're just having a bad day, you're probably being mean to everybody and it's nothing personal. It's about you, it's not about me. But when you're in your main character energy, you can be more empathetic and step back and be like, not gonna take it personal. Hope everything turns around. Good luck to you.
Yeah, and that's where the self-awareness piece comes in.
So how do you know you have main character energy? We're going to go through a rolling list of some main character energy examples or some classic signs. Listen, ladies, this is an invitation. You got to step into your main character energy. Some of us just need to dive in 100%.
Yeah, some people are just living in it. Like that's the frequency they live in and that's it. 24/7. And some people, it's not so much that it's like a frequency that you live in, but you can channel into it.
Yeah. And for some of us, we just have to learn because we've never fully embraced it and we've never allowed ourselves to fully live in that space. Maybe we've been afraid of it or it just is unfamiliar to us. But we're still learning in it. And the only way to learn is to start doing. All right. So what are some classic signs of main character energy?
People look when you walk in, not because of your looks. I mean, you look fabulous. Congratulations. You're a gorge. But it's because of your aura.
Yeah. We were talking about this and it's like, I don't want to be conceited, but every time I walk into a space, people look at me, like full on look at me. They make eye contact with me. There's a moment with strangers and it's all different kinds of people. It's not like always one kind of person. It's like children, adults, old people, men, women, whoever, right? And I was telling Mitch, is that weird? And for the longest time, I used to think, oh my God, something must be wrong with me, or I look funny, or my hair's messed up. And then at some point, I was having a conversation with someone who I would consider like a mentor. And we started talking about like this idea of like main character energy. We weren't calling it main character energy, but we were talking about this concept. And it clicked because she was like, your energy is very powerful when you're in a room, especially as a emerging leader at the time and in the leadership role in many of the things I do now. You step into that and you kind of almost have a control over certain spaces. But she's like, your energy is very powerful. So when you walk into a room, people feel it and they notice it, which means you're already tapping into that and you just have to learn how to use it more and use it for good. But I used to think that people would look at me because something was wrong. And usually that means that you're tapping into some of this powerful energy.
The good old MCE aura.
The good old MCE aura.
Also, sometimes you're in your MCE, you're like, yeah, my main character energy is on fire. And then you walk to your car and you look at yourself in the mirror and you realize you have chocolate on the side of your mouth from the chocolate croissant you just ate before you walked into the store. And also your lip tint looks crazy.
You look like the Joker. Although I will say, usually if I'm looking wild, I'm definitely not in my main character energy. I'm in my full-blown ADHD spiral. And I am very aware of the difference between the two.
I think you could still be a main character who spirals. In fact, most main characters do spiral.
We'll get to that.
That's number 2. You narrate your life in your head and sometimes out loud. Dude. All the time.
Legit, all the time.
I have like a narrator all the time. That's real.
I'm glad that I read this somewhere at some point where it says like if you talk out loud to yourself, that's a sign of intelligence because I talk out loud to myself a lot. This is a lot how I process things. But I do narrate a lot of things in my head. Like there's constant activity going on. You know what's fascinating? Some people hear their voice like their own voice. Some people hear like a different voice. Like people experience their internal narration differently.
This is where I feel crazy. Because I hear my voice when I'm writing something. My inner knowing, I like to refer to it as, is like sometimes it's not my voice.
Did you give it like a persona?
I don't know.
Like your main character energy has a persona. Has
like,
a stage name.
It's me incognito.
Maybe you just assign a character. A wise Helen Mirren.
See, I wouldn't want Helen Mirren.
I hate on Helen Mirren.
No, I love Helen
She's
Mirren.
amazing.
She's amazing. But I feel like if it was a woman, I would want Viola Davis in my head.
Yeah, love her too.
That sounds really weird.
Viola Davis, can you narrate our lives for us?
Please and thank you.
We love you and we need your wisdom. Okay, have you ever narrated yourself in like when you're really feeling yourself and you go somewhere and maybe you like walk into a cafe and you're like, wow, look at me. Like I'm vibing. I'm feeling good. Everything is great.
Like if you catch yourself in the mirror.
Like you ever look at yourself in the mirror and you realize what your inner narration is like hyping you up. It's like your hype man now. Your hype woman.
It's like the DJ's best friend. Always to the left of them, like, yeah, bro, you got this. Well, no. No, I just tell myself sometimes.
It's just your own voice.
Yeah, it's just my own voice. It's not my inner narrator.
Okay. Your main character energy, you are romanticizing everything. Even Laundry Day has a soundtrack.
Yeah.
And you have like, you go to the grocery store, it's like a crazy indie film moment for you. Or it's a rainy day and you're journaling and you have a whole healing montage scene happening.
I like to drive when it rains and play like really deep.
Dude, that's what this is saying. Like you create a cozy indie film moment. Yeah. But it's very drama.
When I used to have to drive into early in the mornings for work and it was all foggy, Radiohead, I'm in it.
Did it go from a like a super hyped up deep indie film to when you're driving home from work to just a sad comedy?
Just Johnny Cash. I hurt myself today. Yeah.
That's funny. It's okay. We can get through
I'll
this.
get to your dream, I promise.
Yeah, I've had those moments where it just feels very romanticized.
One of the other ones that I feel is very romanticized that I do for myself now. Shout out to my really good friend that I've been friends with 4 years. If they ever hear this, they'll know. One of the things that he loves to do for himself is he listens to Paula Cole, Shania Twain, Sheryl Crow. And so you'll just hear him like making pasta and then you'll just hear, come on, girls. And he starts singing his pasta and he's like jamming out. One day I came home, I was inspired by him. And I put on Where Did All the Cowboys Go? And you just hear me jamming out while I'm cooking. And these are things that I did for a long time. And then I was like reinvigorated to do it again. And it was just like so pleasant.
Oh, I have a soundtrack to everything I do in my life.
I know I've heard it.
If I could have music playing, I would do it. I would walk around looking like a crazy person. So I just keep most of it in my head, which now that I said that out loud also makes me sound like a crazy person.
My favorite is their Christmas Pozole soundtrack.
Yes, I have a Christmas Pozole soundtrack because I throw down in the kitchen during Christmas. When we make breakfast, we play Celia Cruz and Mark Anthony, and it's like a whole party in the morning when we're cooking breakfast. And yeah, I have different soundtracks for different things. So I relate to this 1000%. I didn't realize that was me tapping into my MCE, but
it really is.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. For a while, I would only like allow myself to have my MCE moments in private. And then I started realizing I could just do it wherever. And sometimes I'm like doing my laundry and then I'll put on like screamo emo music, you know. it serves a dual purpose, that one, because you get to get all the anger out.
So this next one, this doesn't really apply to me because I'm not a big perfume person, but I know you are,
Yes.
Mitch. Main character energy folks have a signature scent. Everyone knows when you've been there.
I haven't figured out what my signature scent is, or I don't think anyone ever knows where I've been.
My goal is that no one knows I was there.
Yeah,
like I want to be like a ninja in the night.
Yeah, that's my goal as well. Like I want to go make a really fun, lasting little impression and then disappear. Batman. Where the hell did she go?
Gone. You can't follow the trail.
Doctor Strange. All
There's
my
no
favorites.
scent to follow. The worst is when you go into a room and everybody's scented. It's like too much. Instant migraine.
Yeah.
With main character energy, do you dress like you might run into your ex and your future soulmate? No. like hobo chic all the time.
Sometimes, like you said, you catch yourself and you're like, who is she? If I'm getting ready, I want to like be good for me. And that's what I think MCE really is.
Yeah, I don't think it's this. This to me sounds more performative. Overthinking how you're going to look because of the attention you might get from someone else. But like in our Fashionably Late episode, which if you haven't heard, you can go back to our page and listen to. Fashion, it's really about feeling good. Like you just put on an outfit and you feel good. That's the MCE energy.
Number 6, you give knowing looks to imaginary cameras, like The Office.
Like you're the fourth wall.
Yeah, sometimes. Not that I'm like looking for a camera, but I'll just like pause and kind of look off.
I think when I do it, I'm just checked out. If someone says something off the wall or super unhinged, I'm like, okay, we're done. And I'm gone.
Time for dissociation.
Dissociation. It may look like I'm being dramatic for that main character energy moment, but it's not. I left. I'll be back shortly.
Oh, man. And now a word from our sponsors.
Prozac. It's not for everyone,
but it might be for you. Number 7, you walk slower when you know someone's watching. No,
let's be honest. If I'm in full-blown main character energy as we're talking about it, I don't even notice anybody around me. If I'm being completely honest, I'm just like in the zone, you know?
Get in the zone.
I'm not like walking through like a Hollywood movie star, like high-fiving people.
Yeah, that would be Delulu.
Yeah, but I do feel like when somebody's staring at you, it kind of messes up the vibe.
If someone is like dead watching me and in a weird way, I will start moving faster. Story time.
Gather up.
One time I went with a really good friend to go eat, and the guy sitting in the booth, we were at a diner, and the guy sitting at the booth behind her, who was facing me, positioned his entire body to the right to watch me eat.
Which is bizarro.
Super bizarre.
Yeah.
And
it's like, have some personal boundaries.
I think he thought this was flirting, and I was like, this is really fucking weird.
It's called stalking.
Like, I've seen this on an episode of You, I think.
Or National Geographic.
But I started to feel physically hot in my body. And then I started eating faster, and then the conversation started ending, and my friend picked up on it and was like, what is going on?
I think some people just don't have enough self-awareness, and they think that they're so cool and they're so attractive that they think you're going to feel the vibe. What about, this does fall in line with main character energy because of the drama that we've already established goes along with this sometimes. You light candles before journaling like you're about to summon your future.
I've never done this. Have you ever done that?
Light a candle? Yeah, I love lighting candles. This is my vibe. Yeah. I like a good soft light too. I have a nice lamp. I don't light candles that often because I don't know if this is just part of aging. I have forgotten to turn off a candle. And I was like, whoa.
Like a candle in the wind.
Number 9. I feel like Mitch has done this. Main character energy. You whisper plot twist. And I do feel like you tell stories like this all the time. And it may be a millennial thing. I don't know.
I have done this. Oh my God. One time someone was getting into a fight with their now ex-boyfriend, and the boyfriend said something about the girlfriend. I'm hearing it on speakerphone, and I was like, plot twist. And it just fired her up even more. I know I shouldn't have, but I did. Because it was a plot twist in real time. Yes, I do this. I'm gonna calm down now. I don't know where all this energy
You
came
need to calm down. The caffeine has kicked in.
from. So, number 10, you've practiced a TED Talk for an event that doesn't exist yet. Never.
Well, it's like part of hyping yourself up and having goals, right? Like eventually one day I might be winning an award. And so what if I need to be prepared for that?
Clearly, Andy has done this.
Mind you, these are like the most common reasons that people have given
For main character
for
energy.
main character energy and how they describe it or experience it.
You take solo cafe dates and pretend you're being watched from across the room. What if you're just being watched?
Well, I don't agree with how people are describing it. I do think there's something to like, you're kind of aware that at any point somebody might be watching you because somebody's always watching. And so maybe that is kind of how you experience it with main character energy, is like you're so confident and comfortable that you take yourself out, and that's totally fine with you. I've done it a lot. I actually really have enjoyed those times just with myself. But I've never pretended I'm being watched from across the room. I just feel maybe a little bit more aware that people might be paying attention to me because I'm sitting by myself. And, you know, people be shit talking.
Oh, yeah. But you know why they're talking shit? You know why?
Why?
Because you're more interesting than they are.
Yes. Woo! And they're trying to figure out, why am I there alone? Am I a sociopath?
Dun, dun, dun.
Am I just so confident that I just don't give a shit?
Now a word from our sponsors. You reenact arguments in the shower with perfect comebacks all the time.
All the time. But is that main character energy or is that just anxiety?
It's a little bit of perfectionism, I think.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's main character energy, because I think main character energy, you're like kind of over it. Okay, for people I care about, if it didn't go well, the conversation or the interaction, I will look back at it and be like, I am hard to like sometimes. Oh, and if somebody says something mean to me in the day, in the shower, when I'm like decompressing and processing my day, sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, well, your hair's frizzy, bitch. That would have been a great comeback.
Well, you're like 8 hours too late. Yeah. I think sometimes I do it just because I want to learn from it so that if I was ever in that situation again, I would respond better or feel more prepared and confident.
I like that. That's good. I'm going to take that. That's my answer.
You can't have it. It's mine.
You believe your pet is your emotional support CoStar. They are your biggest fan. That's why they don't want you to use the restroom without them. Because if you die, they'll never forgive themselves.
I love that with my dog, who is like over a decade years old. I can just put my hands out, like both my hands out, like my arms out to him, and he'll immediately come over and he knows what it means. It's like, we need to snuggle. We need an emotional moment together. And he'll come over with such softness. Like he doesn't run into me. He just very softly puts his head in my hands. And then he kind of give you a little hug.
Meanwhile, my emotional support CoStar will bulldoze into you.
Full speed. Like potential concussion coming your way.
Yeah. And his way. He doesn't care because that's how much he loves you. You treat your therapist like your mentor in a coming of age movie. I'm not in therapy right now. So no.
Not right now, but maybe later.
I'll put a pin in that one.
I've treated them as a therapist.
Yeah. Same.
I think the main character energy vibe of that is like, I'm comfortable going to therapy and talking about it and letting my therapist be the therapist.
Doing their job. I think also a good main character energy vibe is that you can also differentiate between a good therapist and somebody that's blowing smoke up the butt. Mm-hmm. You can just tell if they know what they're talking about and if it's a good fit for you. And if it's not, you're comfortable with saying, I don't think this is going to work out. I need somebody that's actually going to challenge me and understands my life experience and can actually help me navigate my life experience.
Yeah. I don't know if this is main character energy or arrogance, but every time I have had a therapist or a coach or a mentor, I'm very clear with them that I have high expectations of them because I am difficult. I'm challenging. I will challenge you. I will be stubborn. I will not listen to anything that you tell me because I think I know better than you. 100%.
Well, you answered your own question.
But, it's like I learned to speak up and be honest in that way because I'm owning that vibe that I have. I want to be in charge and I will continue to push you because of it. And I'm also trained in this same area. And it's not because you are not good at your job, it's just because that's my thing.
You want to be confident in the fact that you're going to trust the process and you want to ensure that they are competent. Yeah.
Yeah. And if they can't respond to that, then they can't be my therapist. Not just anybody can be Wonder Woman's therapist. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh. That's arrogant.
I like to straddle the line. Again, I like to push boundaries. So,
You reread old texts like they're screenplays for your next scene. No, I don't do that.
In fact, you'll be lucky if I read your text to begin with.
You'll be lucky if you got a response. Most of my responses these days, if they're not in my immediate circle, are just thumbs ups. Or sometimes I put the sideways smile to really confuse people.
Sometimes I'll just send back a sunflower.
Just a magician.
Just a rabbit.
Like when people ask me, are you coming to this? I'm just going to put like a carrot.
And they're like, what does this mean?
You have a getting ready routine that includes music, dancing, and pep talks.
100%. And this is because I'm more of an introvert than an extrovert. So I think you'd have main character energy regardless of your introvert extrovert status. But as an introvert, I have to hype myself up because I said yes at a point where I was excited to go. And there was probably caffeine involved. It was a whole thing, I was just really into it. It sounded great at the time. And now that it's here, I absolutely am dreading leaving my house.
That's hilarious. I think that's very relatable. You mentally assign people in your life to roles. Sidekick, love interest, antagonist. No, I'm not a psychopath.
No. This is taking drama to a whole new level.
Yeah,
do people actually do this?
Crazy.
Like, is this a thing?
I'm pretty sure. Not the antagonist part, but I feel like for sure they like title it differently.
Maybe that's newer generations because I feel like the equivalent for me would have been like, oh yeah, that's my ride or die. I don't even think I used BFF like ever.
I have a humorous take on like my inner circle and I call it my MySpace top 5. And then there's my MySpace top 10. If you didn't make that list, then you're a background character.
Yeah. You're just man who walks with Trey.
You narrate your walk through the airport like it's a travel vlog.
That's just travel anxiety.
Please let me not be sitting next to someone who's awful.
Or fall asleep on you and lay on your shoulder over and over. So the flight attendant has to come and continue to pick up their head and turn them in the other direction.
That's super weird.
That's never happened to me.
That has happened to me. And that is so weird to me. I'd rather fall asleep forward.
That's why you have to have RBF.
Resting B face is like a critical component to existing in this world as a woman. It might be one of your best tools. Okay.
I used it yesterday. Not intentionally. But I was at an event, like a music concert. And these people came in way late. Like, why are you even here late?
Yeah.
And they stopped and the woman looked at me directly in the face. And I think my face said, don't even ask. So she quickly turned around and went to the row in front of us and then asked them to slide over from their seat so that they could sit, which was really annoying because it was very disruptive. But I kind of laughed to myself because I was like, yeah, I had my resting bitch face on for sure. Either you're going to crawl over or you're going to go sit somewhere else.
It really bothers me when people go to events at the very end.
Yeah. Why are you here?
Unless you're a parent and your kid's on the stage, then you better sit your ass down and pretend that you were there the whole time. But if you're not a parent and you're just there and it's performative, then you need to go home.
Yeah.
You stare dramatically out the window for no reason. Just vibes.
Yeah. I think we've established that you do this on a regular.
Every window. All the
I
windows.
do stare out the window because I'm contemplating the existence of life. I'm having an existential moment.
The last one, you have an internal credits reel for each day starring me.
Like a replay of yourself. I think that's a very rare thing.
No, I don't do this. I think it's a creative spin. Congratulations if you do this.
So if any of the ones we went through resonate with you, send us your top 3 or add your own. Use hashtag Andi and Mich, main character, to share your moment.
All right, let's get to my favorite part.
People watching. Why do we feel so seen? Okay, first and foremost, is people watching creepy or mysterious and insightful? Does it make you a creepy person or just a intellectually curious person?
I think context matters. Because now that I've thought about it more.
Because initially we were like, no, it's totally fine. We love to people watch. I very much enjoy people watching because I'm very curious, which is the professional way to say you're nosy. But I'm very curious about what people talk about, what's going on with people, how they're experiencing life and each other. And sometimes, listen, if you're talking loud enough that I don't even have to put any effort into hearing your conversation and paying attention, then it's on you. You invited me in. You pulled up the seat and you were like, here you go, sit down, watch the show. We hope you enjoy.
As long as it's not fixation and it's just from a place of curiosity and wonder, then yeah, it's super cool. I love people watching. It's one of my favorite pastimes. I'll spend 5 hours with you people watching.
Yeah. I love people watching at like Disneyland or like busy places.
I could see that. There's a lot going on.
Oh, there's so much going on.
I like doing like cafes and like metropolitan cities.
Oh, you get the cheaters.
You clearly see that they're cheating.
And then they make out really hard in the parking lot and then get in separate cars and drive away. People watching. I'm trying to understand how this relates to main character energy. It kind of relates to the fact that like when you have that level of confidence and you're okay being out and about by yourself, that you probably engage in a lot of people watching because you're just curious about what's happening in the moment, you know, and you're just paying attention to things around you.
Yeah, I think it's because, like we said earlier, a lot of people who have main character energy tend to be really interested in others. Mm-hmm. And so I think people watching tends to like allow you to be inquisitive about human nature in general and have like an open-mindedness. When we're talking about people watching at first, when you're like really observant, it can sound like you're judging people, but in reality, you're just observing them. I mean, you might have a little judgment here and there, but for the most part, for me, I'm just observing. Like, I'm fascinated most of the time of how people interact in dynamics.
That's also creative brains, too, because we like to make up full backstories.
That's part of it, too.
What about being the observed versus being the observer?
I think as long as it's not fixation or it's not intimidation, it's fine. Like if someone's observing me and they're observing my friends, I don't take it personally and I don't care. But if there's maybe a little intention behind their observation, it can get real creepy real fast. Mm-hmm. And I also think that as a people watcher, I know when to stop looking.
But they might just be watching you because of that vibe you're giving off, that powerful energy that's filling the room.
Yeah, but I'm never like sitting in it and like, yeah, you're watching me because I'm freaking cool.
Yeah. I think you can. I think you can feel the vibe from the other person too. Are they giving off that energy or not? This is just the street in me that I'm like, what are you looking at? Mind your business. This is coming from someone who also likes to people watch. So yes, I am contradictory in that. I don't like people to watch me, but I am okay with paying attention to other people.
You like being the observer.
Not the observed. Yeah.
Most of the time, you don't exist to me unless I'm observing you.
What about instances where maybe your vibe is high, like you're vibing real high, and you walk in somewhere, let's say a coffee shop, since we love to talk about coffee, and someone's observing you because they notice and they're like really intrigued. And you know, you've clocked that they clocked you. And now you're awkward. Like your face starts twitching.
That's anxiety.
And then you're like, what face am I making right now? And are they still paying attention because I look crazy? Or you fumble and you drop something, like it's a whole thing.
Yeah, because they can cause anxiety if you're not ready to engage with people.
Yeah, but now it's thrown off your main character energy.
Your funky energy is funkifying mine. You funkify me, bro. You need to redirect that gaze.
The Gen X in me is like, what you looking at? You need to mind your business.
You need to ponder over yonder, my friend.
Take your 3-pump caramel macchiato soy latte and get.
It just depends. What I've noticed is like when people watch for too long, they will get intimidated. All they're seeing is that you're non-reactive externally. And so they'll either move to the next step, which is engagement. They try to make a connection at some point. And if they don't, they will nervously look away at some point.
Or look at their phone. People use phones now a lot to kind of break that.
Yeah.
No, not me. Just checking Facebook. Oh, well, that's old, right? TikTok, whatever.
I was just checking my Facebook.
Just counting my Facebook friends.
I was just on my Facebook. I found 5 old friends. So this brings us to the next question. Is being watched a sign of power or vulnerability?
Being watched?
Yeah, like if somebody's watching you.
The person who's watching you is a serial killer. I agree. And so they might be testing for vulnerability, which be aware of your space, because if you make eye contact back, that's a sign that you are not as vulnerable as they think you are.
Oh, this is a huge thing as somebody who watches a lot of those kind of TV shows and a lot of those kind of podcasts. Make the eye contact.
Yes.
Even if it's uncomfortable, and don't look away fast, especially if someone feels like they are coming with their energy from a place of power. And that usually feels like aggressive energy, intense, uncomfortable energy. An acting practice is to look either between their eyes or directly to the right of their eyes.
Or their eyebrows.
But from a distance, if they're far enough, they're not going to notice. They're going to think you're looking them dead in the eye. Like in the wild.
Like one of my favorite comedians, Angela Johnson, she says you have to make yourself big. So like a bear, show your teeth. Can be a sign of power if the context makes sense for it, right? That you, like, people are sensing that you're standing in your power because you're entering a room or you're in a space that you feel confident in, and that's radiating outward, and that's going to attract attention. People typically aren't really looking at you if they're sensing vulnerability. I don't think that attracts the same kind of attention unless it is a serial killer or somebody who's looking for that.
Or like a manipulative person. I agree. I think because vulnerability can be power in the right spaces, but that's usually like in private interactions with people you trust. You know, it's very seldomly that you're going to see it on a public stage. And if it's happening and somebody's like, oh, this is a perfect time to make a friend, you got to be really weary of that person.
Yeah.
But anyway, trauma or just the plot?
Every main character needs a turning point. But are we just glamorizing struggle when we talk about this?
So we've already differentiated between the difference of what it looks like to be in your main character energy authentically versus the aesthetic parts of being in your main character energy. And even going through those points earlier, it was pretty clear that there's a big differentiation in how people use it, the term main character energy. I think the way that we're trying to reframe it is it's a positive thing, and that when you have main character energy, it's actually super beneficial to you and everyone around. It serves people well and it serves you well. And I think it can be a really powerful kind of energy to walk into a room with. But there is like that part where it's like you need to know whether or not it's authentic. And that comes from your gut. You can just trust your gut. Sometimes people are really good actors, especially in LA and New York.
Yeah, big cities.
You just got to be aware that not everyone who is capable of channeling that kind of energy is coming from a good space if it's inauthentic. But usually if they're announcing it, that's like a huge red flag to me. To me, you just told me you're so insecure.
Yeah, it just is. It's like cool people. They don't walk around saying, I'm so cool.
No.
It's just a vibe. You got to be able to differentiate from real transformation versus like a manufactured glow up. Let's really try to avoid the drama of like being stuck in the turning point or being stuck in the struggle or being stuck in the quote unquote sad girl era. In every story that we watch, right? Every movie, there's a plot twist and there's like this dramatic downfall of the main character who then has to rise again.
The character arc.
And that doesn't mean that we don't do that in real life, but let's not make it dramatic.
Don't lean into main character energy inauthentically from a place of wanting to kind of get attention from it.
You totally touched on it. the social media piece where people are really putting out on their grid all of this main character energy, right? And they're
Yeah.
like showcasing it. And then they also are showing you that dramatic turning point where they're
Mhm.
crying on social media. That's a lot. It's
Yeah.
very rare that I've watched one where I'm like, wow, that's pretty real and honest. Those
Yes.
exist, but they're few and far between.
I agree with that. One time, this girl was gonna lose her coffee shop. It went viral. She cried really hard. She worked like so hard for this shop, and she's like, I don't know what to do. And that was authentic. She was panicking, and she was a Puerto Rican girl too. That's the reason why I watched it.
Puerto Rico.
What? And yeah, a bunch of people, famous people, people from all over New York started showing up to her coffee shop, and they saved her coffee shop. That's cool.
It was an authentic call out to the community for
help
support
through her community. Yeah. Versus like some of these people get on and they're telling these really dramatic stories, and some of it feels really, really scripted. Or like, for instance, on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, one of the women danced because her baby got better.
Oh yeah, in the hospital.
And she said that was her way of like showing that she was excited about the baby getting healthier. And I had feelings when I saw that. And I was like, that is not a protective thing to do. And that really bothered me.
It's not appropriate.
And personally, I'm like, you're using the baby
to get sympathy, likes, followers, and attention.
And maybe you don't see it in the moment. And that's a growing point for you. I don't think people need to be persecuted for those things, but also like it's kind of a little icky.
Did you ever watch that movie Apple Cider Vinegar?
The TV show?
Yeah, it was like a short TV show about the wellness influencers based on a true story who allegedly cured terminal brain cancer through these practices, and it kind of turned out that it was like all a fraud. But she did that a lot. She went on social media a lot
and cried.
And then like majority of her social media posts would be her performatively showcasing this strong energy, like women's empowerment, health and wellness. And then she would go on there just to gain sympathy, likes, and followers and cry. And it's like fake vulnerability.
She was wild. I would really recommend that every young person watches that show.
Yeah. And that's not what main character energy is about.
No, that's like the opposite of main character energy.
All right. So we're going to throw some statements out there. Again, these are common statements that people have made. And we want you to think about, is this main character energy or is this just a menace? Is it dramatic or is it delusional? She said she was in her Phoenix Rising era after a bad date. Dramatic, Delulu, or main character energy? Yeah, I think it's dramatic for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a little delusional. I think it's okay to acknowledge when you have experienced something you didn't like. Not everything has to be like a plot twist. Like, it's okay to say like, that was a bad date and I do not feel good about it, so now I'm gonna go home and eat some Chinese food.
Yeah.
It's okay to just experience the moment, move through it, and then do what you do best. That's good. Okay, so he posted soft launch of my redemption arc with a gym selfie.
Tell me more.
What this means is like somebody broke up with you, you got dissed, you got ghosted. And so you're feeling down. You're feeling down and out. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to focus on my summer bod.
And you're hoping that person sees.
And if they see it, you want them to know, I am launching myself into my redemption arc as a character, which means maybe I wasn't a solid 10, but give me 6 months. I'm going to be a 7.5. You ain't never seen it coming. That's what that means.
That's dramatic.
That is dramatic, yeah. She brought a ring light to brunch just in case the lighting wasn't giving. Yeah, that's Delulu.
Yeah.
Just enjoy your brunch.
For real. She asked the DJ at a wedding to play her personal heartbreak anthem during the couple's first dance.
Kicked out of the wedding. Worst friend of the year award.
Delusional. Like, what? Like, these are real people's experiences. This is wild.
Oh, these are real people's experiences? Oh, that's sad. So back to the crying people. She posted a reel crying softly and captioned it, healing in real time.
Dramatic.
I can't.
I definitely think
Gen
X and
Z.
our millennials showing hard right now
Yeah.
in this segment. You get
Okay.
2 minutes to cry and then you move on. She wore sunglasses and a trench coat to Whole Foods at night. Unless you're Angelina Jolie, you have no business wearing a trench coat and sunglasses to Whole Foods at night.
I would only do this if I was like super drunk.
Well, that's not main character energy. That's a different vibe. She started a new Instagram account called at the main character 2024.
Oh, she's going to just have the Instagram for the year?
It's 1 year. That's it. He said, cut the cameras during a heated group chat argument.
That's a funny guy. I think you should date him.
She updated her bio to say, not everyone gets to meet me in this lifetime.
I mean, that's just a fact. Statistically, it's impossible.
Do you even know how many people are on this planet?
He proposed a toast to himself at someone else's birthday dinner.
That's wild.
That's kind of hilarious. But yeah, that's a little cringy.
That's cringy. And so self-centered.
But also kind of funny. If it's a best friend doing it in a prankster kind of way, hilarious. She told her therapist, don't worry, I've already processed this in my notes app. I was like, Andy, is this you?
No, I don't even know how to use the notes app. If I processed it with my dog, different, but he can't share that information.
He's your confidant.
Yeah, it's locked down. He's keeping that forever.
He posted a blurry emotional selfie and wrote, you wouldn't understand. None of you do.
Emotionally concerning.
They need a wellness check.
Things that are posted online are very dramatic. So how much of this is actually true? Who knows? But none of this is encompassing the mindset of the main character.
If people are doing things like this and they're saying that they're in their main character energy, these are good indicators that they are not.
It's just you being you.
And being cool because you are cool, not because you have to proclaim it.
What's that Outcast song? Ain't nobody dope as me. I'm just so fresh and clean.
Fresh and so clean. You know, I saw the singer from
The Outcast. It's just called Outcast.
Andre 3000. I saw him.
Oh, really? Recently?
Like 2 months ago.
If you don't know Outcast, that's the main character energy.
They are just excellent at what they do.
In this moment, you are all about tapping into that main character energy. What would change for you? That's such a important, powerful question. Depending on where you are in life, it kind of lends to this idea of like, what would you not be afraid to do,
or how would you not be afraid to be seen? Because
ding, 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 ding.
One of the things about being tapped into yourself and being connected to yourself is you're not really too concerned with the impressions that you're giving to other people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like this prefabricated performance.
So if people want to channel their main character energy IRL without being cringe, because we went over a lot of really funny cringe things, what would you say are some of the tips that you would give them?
I would say romanticize your life. Not just the idea of your life, but yourself. Like, it's okay to be like playful and to enjoy the things that you enjoy and to just exist in it without the fear of criticism, without the fear of other people looking at you and maybe making you feel uncomfortable or they don't understand it. Just enjoy being you. And it's okay to have a soundtrack to some of the best moments.
If you don't have one, I'm concerned for you. Take a long car ride with your perfect playlist. Walk alone at the twilight hour.
Yes.
With your headphones in, playing a melodic tune. Sit by your window and dramatically journal while it's raining outside.
What about you?
I think we hear this a lot. Dress to impress or dress for where you want to be, where you want to go in life. And I say dress for how you want to feel. It comes from the inside out, right?
Yes.
So you got to tap into that inside part of this energetic vibe first and foremost before it can be felt or radiated outward. Mm-hmm. So how are you showing up for the day? Not only dress yourself and your body and your clothes, but dress your attitude, dress your energy, dress everything about you. Choose how you want to be and who you get to be when you go out in the world and you wake up and you're ready to tackle the day. That'll change everything.
Whether you're walking to your mailbox like it's the Met Gala or healing like it's a montage scene,
Just know this, you are not too much. You're the whole damn plot.
go be iconic, bestie. And remember, yes, they are looking at you.
Share this episode with your favorite co-star and tag us with your own. Hashtag main character moments. Catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.